welcome in. I am Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper. I am here for your weekly card class from Maine. And don't bother checking your calendars or the date. It is Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, November 11th, and normally I go live on Mondays at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on the East Coast. I am in Maine, but things went a little awry this week, and it's a long story, but it doesn't really matter because I postponed the class, and here it is, Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Now, the class is still going to be an awesome and amazing class, and I love having you join me for it and letting me know where you're tuning in from. Please say hello. I love to know who's watching, and I also enjoy reading your comments back as you're watching along, and I do ask questions randomly. I love to get your input, so please don't be shy in the comments. I love to have some input from you and to check them all out, especially when I get done. Now, I might not see all of your comments because I do get going and I'm making some beautiful cards, and I'm not in the feed the whole time. This is a live card class. I never quite know what might or might not happen. But it is Tuesday, is November 11th. Happy Veterans Day to all who have served. I'm honoring my husband today. He is a 20-year retired Coast Guardsman. So Veterans Day does mean quite a bit to me and my family, and as well to all of our veterans and all of the families. So today's class, however, is going to be a little bit more Christmassy in nature. We're still playing with Christmas items here. I have the Pine Tree Trimmings Bundle. That's almost a mouthful. And I am wearing the required green top, so kind of Christmassy, right? Like a pine tree. Now, there's no secret that pine tree stamps are my absolute favorite. I will collect any stamp set that has pine trees in it. When I hit, mark my words now, when I hit my million in sales, because that is my goal. I just have a goal set. When I hit million in sales, my stamp set will have a pine tree. I do live in the pine tree state, so of course it has to have a pine tree. All right, so I have been checking here a little bit just to see if we are live, if I have any friends hanging out with me. Again, it's Tuesday, so you might be a little off schedule. You might be surprised that I'm doing a live card class. Oh, I have some comments. Okay, I'm trying to find some comments this time because I have not been able to see comments in forever. I've been figuring out how I can see them. So let's see, we've got Carol, hi, Upper Michigan. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Carol, do you have snow? I have family in New York State that has snow. I've heard it, Ohio, Vermont, New Hampshire, snow. Maine, 0 snow. We had a few flakes today, but we don't have snow yet. It's been a balmy 36, but we haven't had snow to go with it. Hi, Jess. Jess, you live out in Illinois. You might have snow too. Hi, Tammy. Tammy is my fellow Mainer, and I love it. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Patty, another fellow Mainer. That's exciting. Okay, so now that I know that we're all here, I have to find the buttons on my workspace here, and we'll get over there and we'll start our class. So please continue to say hi as you jump on, and hopefully the deck will be in my favor today. I'm always hopeful that the tech will be in my favor. Okay, so before we get going, again, a little bit of an announcement before we get into our Pine Tree Trimmings class. I want to remind you that I do still have the November card kit of the month available. You can sign up for this through the 15th of November. That's Saturday. It's coming right up. I do ship these out on the 20th, so this is going to be shipping next week. You get 4 card kits that are using the Delicate Pines Bundle. Now, I did a class last week with the Delicate Pines Bundle. You can check back through to see that class as well. Basically, if you have snowflakes, doesn't matter what kind of snowflakes you have, you'll be able to swap them in. You're getting a little bit of the Elegant Pine Snowflake DSP, the Faceted Snowflakes Embellishment, 4 card kits. You're also getting a fun fold card kit recipe and some surprises too. I like to tuck a couple of surprises in. So here's a look again at the embellishments. I've used mine, so you can see there's a lot left after you get done with the 4 card kits. So these are the cards that you'll be making. Now, a lot of the die cutting embossing comes anything with the snowflakes you're doing at home. So there's that card. We have this one. Pink has been very popular lately. I love it. We have, of course, we're going to go, kind of more natural colors here. And then we have this card as well. So these are the card kits that you're getting with this set of card kit of the month. You get quarter pack of 6x6 DSP with that as well. And then, of course, it goes with the Delicate Pines Bundle. Now, if you don't have this one and you have other snowflakes, they will work. You can swap in other snowflakes and greenery to create these great cards. There's lots of layers. There's lots of great details. You get the PDF recipes as well. So November card kit of the month, sign up through the 15th to get that. I actually did another video, I think on Friday, where I talked about that too. All right, we're going to set that aside. Now we're going to come into why we're here today. We're here for the pine tree trimming class. Now this is an amazing value. I believe I sent an email out this morning, and the price point for the bundle, the entire bundle, stamp set and dies, $35, $33.95. I don't remember. It was really like, it's an amazing bundle for sure. So you're getting photopolymer stamps. There are 12 of them in here. You're going to see that you're going to have some images for 3 different tree stamping images that you can do. So just a little bit different on each one. We're going to explore all these tonight in great detail. And then these are the dies. Now you're getting kind of a little package here, because there's not a lot of dies that come in the set. Here they are right here. These are all the dies you're getting. Pine tree right here. This will cut out all of these images that are in the stamp set. You've got presents, which you can cut out your presents here. You've got a little bow here with a die. You've got the star right here, the star. And then you've got, oh, this little garland, like a little bit of garland here. And then you've got 4 sentiments. We've got, oh, Christmas tree, sending Christmas wishes, 'tis the season, and then from our house to yours. So these are some really nice sentiments. Also in here, there's some little ornaments too, because of course we're trimming the tree, right? Pine tree trimmings, trimming the tree. So there are 3 different Christmas tree types. I have a favorite. I don't know if you guys can guess already what my favorite is, but I have a favorite. In fact, I think I used it on almost every card. Now I am, like I said, I'm going to share all of them. I'm going to share all of those images and how they can be used, but I do have a favorite. I'm not going to lie, I have a favorite. Okay, so I tried to get everything done as much as I could ahead of time so that we could get our class underway and have a good time here. Pine Tree Trimmings card class. When you order $50 with me this week, you're going to get the 4 card kits. So these are your card kits. They come with embossed pieces. They come with, this one has some punch pieces. There are some die cut pieces in here. More embossing. So there's different die cuts and such. So these are the 4 card kits. They are pretty hefty card kits. I like to do a lot of layers. I asked my friends, do you like me to do a lot of layers? Because it's just who I am. I am a layer girl. And most of you said, yes, you love the layers. Keep them coming. And there was a few that asked me to make simpler cards. So I'm going to suggest, if you like a simpler card, just omit some of the layers and then use them on other projects. So really, you're getting way more value there as well. And my laptop fell asleep here, so I'm just going to make sure I can still see you guys. Hi, Michelle. Getting snowflakes in Glenburn, and that's in Maine for all my friends. And dusting for Jess. I'm just reading comments here real quick. Hi, Carol. Oh, my goodness. 12 inches of snow, 60 miles north. That's a lot. Tammy says if I look outside, I might have a dusting. That's awesome. I've been in the craft room for a while, so I haven't looked outside probably since it got dark, which is before 5 o'clock. Okay, back to this, because I get sidetracked so easily. $50 for card kits. You got it. You're getting card recipes as well. Those come to you by email. You can print them, save them, reuse them however you want to. And then when you order $75 with me this week, I have a special bonus. The bonus is a shaker card kit. And the shaker card kit is going to come with a tree dome, shaker bits, everything that you have are going to need to do this shaker card. So this set actually works with the shaker domes. And I don't think I have them handy right now, but we're going to talk about the shaker domes in a little bit. So the die here is built for the shaker domes. So this is a really great way to create something fun in your cards. And if you don't have this set, don't intend to get this set, but still want to order with me this week and just swap in some other pine trees that you already have. When you get to this shaker card kit, if you spend $75, you are going to be able to create the shaker card without having this set. So it's really awesome. We're going to talk about that more when we get to that point. Now this is going to run through Saturday the 15th. I'm giving you an extra ordering day because I'm a day late getting the class off the ground. Now you might be wondering, where is the Pine Tree Trimmings bundle coming from? This was a September online exclusive. It's right here somewhere, right here, this one. Oh, look, there it is, $33.25. That is the answer. If you're playing The Price is Right along with me, it's $33.25. I think I might have overbid. The item number is 166047, so it's a really great value. So if you're looking for something that you don't have yet and you still want to get something Christmassy, this one is going to transcend as well to different seasons. I kind of mentioned that in my email. Pine trees are universal. This one, very masculine looking. So you're gonna be able to use this on male birthday cards, right? Masculine cards, cards for people that love nature. And this one as well. I feel like these two transcend the season of Christmas. Now this star one could be really fun for holidays as well. Like I'm thinking 4th of July, patriotic holidays. It doesn't have to be a tree. You have stars that you can stamp, and I think that's really awesome. So there's a lot of play here with the set and amazing value as well. All right, let's talk about our first card kit. We're going to get into it right now. And we're going to start with a green card. Of course, we're starting with a green card. What other color would possibly be a pine tree card, right? As I'm looking at all the different colors of the card kits, we're going to start with green. It seems the most natural. So here we go. We're going to start with this one. I'm going to show you all the parts and pieces that come in this kit. Now, this one has kind of a lot going on in it. So this kit, there's a lot of parts and pieces. I'm going to bring this out one more time when I look at this. So as mentioned earlier, you've got ornaments, you've got star, you've got presents, you've got bows, you've got all kinds of little stuff here. So there's a lot of pieces that are tiny, and typically I don't do the tiny pieces. I mostly focus on the big pieces, the focal point, the trees, for example, and the sentiments. This first card that I'm going to share with you, we're going to get into some of the little bitty pieces, which is why you're going to have a lot of little pieces in this kit. Now, if you don't want to use them, absolutely don't have to. You can do whatever you want with them, that is for sure. And as I'm looking around my desk here, I did want to talk to you a little bit more about pine trees before we go into this kit. Pine Tree Trimmings has these 3 trees, which you can see here. I wanted to compare them with 2 other stamp sets that Stampin' Up currently has available that have Christmas trees in them, because you might be like, whoa, how many Christmas tree sets are there? How many pine tree sets are there? I'm going to lay them all out here. We have Ornamental Christmas. This is also one of my favorites. Okay, wait, I'm like, okay, stop. I already told you anything with a pine tree I love. Therefore, I have all of them. All right, so this one is Ornamental Christmas, but I really do love this one. This one is Decorative Trees. This one was out last year, and there were dies last year. The dies are no longer available, so it's just the stamp set that's available now. But you might already have this one. You might already have the stamp set and the dies, and I feel like you could use these on the card kits tonight. Just saying. And then, of course, we have the pine tree trimming. So you can see here that there's a great progression of pine trees. Like, who doesn't love pine trees? I don't know. The set that we're using tonight has 3, whereas the other 2 sets have 2. They have more of an outline stamp and then kind of the brush color imagery here for the pines. So, okay, so there, I covered that. I forgot that I wanted to show you that and kind of explain to you what the difference is with all the pine tree stamps, because there are quite a few right now, and it can be confusing what's all going on out there. All right, so I gotta find my card. I got it. Okay, here we go. From our house to yours, this is our first card. This is going to be very, very traditionally Christmas. So if you're a traditional Christmas person, you love red and green, this is Garden Green and Real Red. And we've made a very traditional kind of Christmas card. And you can see the little bits here. I've got the star, the garland, the presents, the bows. So we're using all the little pieces on this one. And again, super cute, but maybe not necessary. This might not be your complete jam. So this might not be something that you really love to do. All right, I'm just checking one more time over here on the tech. Checking on the tech here real quick. And then we're going to get back over here into the class. Okay. There we go. So let's talk about what's in this one and what we're going to be doing with this one. So I use the Traditional Wreath 3D embossing folder, which I love embossing folders. Pine trees, embossing folders, I don't know. My list is going to grow to all the things I love. This is item 165874. Awesome embossing folder. It is a 6x6 size. It is a 3D embossing folder. And I embossed two-tone garden green cardstock. So you see how light this is? Does anyone remember Wild Wasabi? The color Wild Wasabi. Stampin' Up! Had a color once upon a time. It is long retired. Wild Wasabi. If you can remember Wild Wasabi, throw a wild in the comments, because I want to see who out there is old school like me and remembers Wild Wasabi. I loved Wild Wasabi. Not the spice, but the color. So the back side is a little bit darker. This is more or less the garden green side, but I embossed it so that you could have this side up, so that you could have a tone on tone look here. So kind of a different color as well. Now this is some new DSP. If you haven't shopped the November online exclusives yet, there are new items out. They just dropped last week, so there's lots of great shopping opportunities. This one's from Hobby Haven. So you can see on the back side of this, you're getting a little sample of brand new paper that just dropped. And there's hobby type things on here, but of course we're focusing on the green for our tree card. So these are all your little parts and pieces. There's a lot. You're getting 2 punch circles. I believe I used let me look, 2 1/4 and 1 7/8 inch circle punches. So you're getting a couple of pieces that are punched. And then we're going to grab out the inks, all of the things. So for our inks today, we've got Garden Green, Real Red, Shaded Spruce. Again, really traditional colors for this particular card kit. And lots of blocks because we're doing lots and lots of stamping with all the little bits in it. All right, I think I have everything out. We are going to use the sequins here. These are the traditional sparkling sequins. Now, if you like the flat sequins for mailing purposes, these are amazing because they are very flat. They're also on back order. Again, they're on back order quite often. So they are on back order. If you ever want to know when something comes back in stock, Stampin' Up! Has a great option where you can just sign up and add your email into the link when you're shopping, and they will send you information once it's back in stock. They send you one email, and then you will know when you can get that item back in again. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this down onto our card base, step 1. Now, I'm not sanding this. You could if you wanted to. This is two-tone cardstock, so if you see some spots on here that look a little worn or a little white, it's meant to do that. There is a white core to the two-tone cardstock, so when you emboss it, because it's a thinner piece of cardstock, the white kind of pops through in a few places, but I like the look. It's kind of a little bit weathered. If you don't like that, you can definitely sponge that as well if that's what you'd like to do. I'm just going to do a couple of real simple assembly parts right now just to get them out of the way. So we're going to put our DSP onto a white cardstock layer as well. We're keeping, again, the green up. And now we're going to do some stamping. So let me set these pieces aside. We're going to start stamping on this piece first. This is Real Red two-tone cardstock. So if you flip it over, it's lighter on one side and darker on the other. So you get to choose when you get these kits at home what you prefer to have up. Now, I did stamp on this. It might be hard to see here. We're going to stamp Sending Christmas Wishes. So we're giving ourselves a little bit of a background imagery on this piece. And I'm going to stamp this Real Red on Real Red. And I'm keeping the darker side up because I do like the darker tone. We're just going to come across here and stamp off a little bit and then on and across. And don't worry about lining everything up perfectly. We're just going to get the words on here. We're not going to be able to see a lot of the words, but we're going to be able to see some of the words. Let me see if I can turn my camera slightly this way. Okay, so here we go. There is the stamping on there. So you can see a little bit of the stamping. Not straight, it doesn't have to be, but it's on there. So there we go. And I need to clean this off because we're using these sentiments on multiple cards. So I'm going to make sure I get all of the red off of here. Of course, it's all on my fingers too, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and glue this down onto our card base now. And this, again, is part of the layering process. Now, if you're not a fan of the layers, you don't have to add all of the things. Let me see if I can find a scrap of white paper. Hold, please. You can see here that my glue globbed, right? So I'm just going to, oh, that's a really nice scrap, Julie. Why would you do that? Let's grab a smaller scrap. How about this scrap? This is more of a scrap I would feel better about throwing away. So I'm just gonna scrape this along here a little bit, just so it's not so gloppy. And now we're gonna put this onto our project. This is gonna go side to side all the way across the card base. It can go up or down however high you want it. It's about the middle, and I kind of lined it up pretty close to the same, so that's awesome. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this up because I'm afraid that I'm going to make a mess with that. We're going to add our layer piece here with some dimensionals. So this one's going to come on over top here. And please continue to say hi as you're jumping on in the comments. My computer screen went dark again because I wasn't paying attention to it, so I can't see them right now, but I will bring it up again in a little bit. And I love to read your comments after the the class is over, just to see what you guys are thinking about these cards. All right, get rid of some of those. We're going to put this on here. Now this is nice that the DSP does not have a specific orientation, so you don't have to worry really about which side goes up. And I did put it a little bit closer here to the right side. You can center it. You can put it over to the left side if you want. I tend to offset the center of my cards quite a bit because it's easier to not have to make everything straight, right? And even. I think when we stop and stress over, is it straight? Is it even? Then it just becomes hard. And there's no need to have hard in card making, right? Make it different and unique. And that way, really, too, no two cards are going to be the same. I don't think I could line this up exactly the same every time anyway. All right, we've got some more stamping to do. This is a little piece of two-tone red. We're going to stamp our presents on here. I'm going to stamp them in the Real Red ink, but I'm stamping on the lighter side of this two-tone because I want the ink coverage to be a little bit darker. So I'm choosing the light side of the paper, Real Red ink, and we're just going to stamp our little presents on here. And there is a die for this. Both of these have little dies, as mentioned earlier. Little rectangle, little square. Now, if you prefer to fussy cut them, these are super easy to fussy cut as well. They are not difficult at all. And that is the beauty right there. All right, so I think we're good with red ink right now. So we're going to close this one up. And I'm going to set that aside because I'm pretty sure we're using red ink. We're using red again. It's Christmas class. We need red, of course. Garden green. Let's open up garden green. And let's talk about this tiny little piece of white that's in your kit. Now, I said tiny because these are two tiny little bows. I'm going to stamp these on here and show you how cute and tiny they are. So here they are, just like this. Now, there is, again, a die that will die cut out these little bows. Here's the little die right here. Die cuts your bows. You have to do them separately because there's only one bow die and there are two little bows for our presents on our packages. How cute would these be on the tree? So if you wanted to trim your tree in bows, you could make several bows if you wanted to, and instead of putting embellishments on the tree, you could do some bows on there. I'm going to set these aside right now, and we're going to bring in shaded spruce. So shaded spruce is going to come here onto this garden green cardstock, and we're going to do our tree. Now this is kind of a more natural pine looking tree. We're doing the shaded spruce ink on garden green cardstock. Instead of tone on tone, we're taking a darker green and we're putting it on the green so that it shows up better. So you can see here how it shows up really nicely. So that is our shaded spruce tree on garden green cardstock. And then we're going to bring in our white circle and our sentiment. It says from our house to yours. I'm reading the wrong sentiment. And we're going to do this on our white circle here. We're going to do this kind of over to the right side. Just like that. Now the photopolymer make it so much easier, of course, to get everything lined up nicely. And while I've got this in my hand, we're just going to put this on the red circle. And I love putting sentiments on circles because circles you can turn from side. So if you stamp that a little bit crooked, you turn your circle. And it's perfect every time. That is my secret. If you have a hard time with sentiments, stamp it on a circle, then turn your circle and you're good to go. We're going to leave this out for a second. And then we have two more pieces right here that would be die cuts for decorating your tree. So there are two places here on the Real Red cardstock for your garland, and then of course your little yellow star is going to go on the crushed curry. Now I did die cut all of these pieces earlier, so I don't have to die cut them all right now. So let's take a look at how everything die cuts, and then I'm going to share with you one more time what this tree looks like here, and then when we die cut it, we're going to put this die cut right over top of it, die cut it. You can see that this die cut is very cookie cutter shaped. It's very straight and very specific. And our little branches here, of course, they look more natural, which is nice. So if you wanted to just stamp them and not die cut it, it would look, really nice just like that. Now, when you die cut it, again, those straight lines don't line up with every little branch of your pine tree. So I wanted to point that out to you so that you're not disappointed in how that turns out. Now we're going to go ahead and sponge the edges with some garden green ink. Sponging edges of things is like one of my favorite things to do. It really kind of helps to hide the fact that it's very straight lines in the die cut, and that the pine stamping doesn't necessarily match up. So it kind of gives it a little bit of camouflage. It's like putting on makeup, right? We put on makeup for that very reason. We like to camouflage some things and make it look a little bit nicer. So that's really what inking does to your project. So just a little bit of ink on there and it looks so much nicer. I absolutely love it. All right, we have everything we need now to put this one together. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my ink pad aside. And oh, I do need to clean up my tree stamp, because this may or may not be one of my favorite stamps that we're using tonight. I mentioned that there's 3 stamps in the stamp set. We have this great little pine branch one. We have the stars, and then we have one that has a lot of room for some play. So I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to grab out all of the die cuts that I did earlier. So we have our presents. We have our tree trimming garland, we have our little star, and we have the tiny little bows. So there's a lot of little bitty pieces here for sure. I'm not sure, I don't think I need any of these. I'm going to set those aside. I will clean them up later. I'll move this aside too. So get rid of things that we don't need, and then we can go ahead and put our card together. So let's talk about how we're going to put these garlands on. Now these garlands are just big enough that you have room to add some adhesive, and they're not going to be so tricky. Like some of the die cuts are so tiny and skinny that it's really tricky to get the adhesive onto them. But there's some play here on these little garlands. Now, if you wanted to do 3, you could. I chose to do just 2 to make it a little bit simpler. So I have one coming up this way, and then I'm going to go ahead and pop this one on kind of from where I ended that one and up the side this way. And that gave me a lot of room for embellishments as well. So I just got 2 garlands on there. Now you could definitely layer them a little bit differently if you wanted to, and add more. If you're a die cutting friend and you love to die cut, go for it. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on the top of my tree with a little star. And of course, I had to go yellow with this one. It's very natural, right? Like a nice yellow star. We're going to put this onto our project here with dimensionals. I was going to say embellishments. We're going to put this on with, let's see, how many can I fit on here? I think that's probably good. Probably should have centered this one a little bit better. And, you know, now that I'm trying to take it off, it might not stick anymore. Okay, now my secret tip on this one is, of course, I just use the large embellishments, large dimensionals on the tree because it makes sense, right? But take a tiny one, take a mini dimensional if you have it, and add it to the very top. Give that star a little bit of support, or cut a piece of your bigger dimensionals to go here. Otherwise, it doesn't like sit nicely on the project. So we're gonna go ahead. I should probably glue this down before we get crazy, right? So we're gonna put this over here onto our DSP and kind of centered. You might want to leave a little bit of room over here for your tree. And I did not take off that backing yet. So now we're going to put our tree over here, and we're just going to kind of layer it so that it covers part of the circle, but it doesn't cover the sentiment. So we don't want to cover up our sentiment. I feel like I layered that on a little bit crookedly. My goodness. It is, oh my gosh, I was just going to say it's Monday. Maybe it's Tuesday. And I just knocked the backing of the little star dimensional right off of it. All right, we're not going to try to uncrooked the tree. The tree is just going to be a little crooked for right now. Okay, moving on. Let us go ahead and continue with mini dimensionals. I have a couple more on this sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and put one here on the back of my rectangular present, and I'm going to get ready to layer that right there. So you can definitely stack the presents under the tree however you see fit. But I'm going to go ahead and put one right there. And then I'm going to stack the next one on, and this one's just going to go on. It's going to sit on top of this one, so it's going to come up here. Just make sure you don't cover up your words. Leave your words in viewing area. And then we're going to add these little bows. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on each of the presents, and then the bow can go right on top. Just like so. Other little tiny bow. So this one has a lot of little details. And normally I don't fuss with all the little details. I normally just focus on the big details. But for this card, I really did want to show you how some of the different products in the bundle work together. Now, with these, you have lots of options. You can go red if you wanted to do red, but I have the red garland, so I wanted to do the gold. I don't know if I would want to mix it up at all and add other colors. But since my tree is a little crooked, maybe I'll just go ahead and we'll just we'll color this in with some different colors and make it more fun, right? More festive. It's a very festive tree now. It's gonna have all the colors on it. And you can do up a mix of whichever size. I'm going small and medium on this. I feel like the large ones are really big, so they might be too big for this project. But there we go. We added some festive color to this one. So the original card has all gold ornaments on it, and my other tree, the one that I just made with you, has multiple color on there. It kind of actually that does remind me of lights, Christmas lights, clear lights, or color lights. I would love to know in the comments, are you clear lights or color lights? We might have to do a poll this week on Facebook just to see, are you clear lights or color lights? But that is it. From Our House to Yours, pretty easy card overall and super cute and very traditional. So that's our very first card from the class. I'm going to, actually I'm going to leave this up here just for a second so that I can check my laptop and see if I can get this up and running again. And see, hi Janice. I see Janice and Lynn. Sandra. Hi Sandra. Sandra says she still has hers. I'm assuming, Sandra, you're talking about the stamp set with the trees and dies, and that is awesome. Patty says she has it. That's great. I love it. I love that you guys are commenting and I can randomly pop in and see your comments. That's even better. Okay, card number 1 all set. Let's go on to card number 2. Hoping that you're loving card number 1. We'll take a look at all the cards together after we get them completed. I'm going to put this on upside down so you can't quite see it yet, but you're going to see here that we're working with not green. This is a Christmas tree card that has 0 green in it. I don't know if that amazes you or makes you a little scared, but we're going to do a Christmas card with 0 green. That has it's a Christmas tree card. I'm sorry, I should say Christmas tree card. We do have some white. We have some crumb cake. This is embossed with the birch embossing folder. You've got some die cuts. These are the Everyday Arches dies. We're working with real red, crumb cake, and white here. We've got some twine. We've got some pieces of white and crumb cake. We've got this gorgeous Traditions of Christmas specialty designer paper. Just came back in stock. This has been very elusive this year. And if you really need some green, you could flip this over. I did design the card with the red. I absolutely love this red. And you're getting a little bit of gold foil here in red. So let's take a look at what the card actually looks like, because you're probably wondering, how can you make a Christmas tree card without green? Well, we can do it like this. And this has, I'm going to have to turn it a little bit in the light because there's some gold foily. It's shiny. There's a lot of shine in here. We've got some shine in the DSP. We've got some gold embossed stars. We've got the gold foil here. And then the crumb cake really works well with gold. So if you're looking for something to mix in besides having everything be gold, go crumb cake. It's a very natural choice. So there we go. And we have two trees on the second card. 2 trees, second card. Now we're going to go ahead and put this one together. We're going to start with a 2-tone cardstock. This is 2-tone. So it is embossed and then debossed. So I debossed the darker side, I embossed the lighter side, but we're gonna add some color to it. We're gonna be using crumb cake and real red for this card. So just really basic ink colors. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our crumb cake blending brush. And we're gonna darken down, as you can see over here, we're gonna darken down our embossed piece, and that just really helps to bring out the actual embossing itself. So you can really focus on the top and the bottom, and maybe a little bit here on this. Actually, no, you don't even have to focus on the side. As I'm looking at the card, we do a lot of layers. I didn't mention it yet. My secret is layers. So go ahead and focus on the bottom and the top, and you're pretty much good to go, unless you really just need to rub some ink on some cardstock and just get rid of some aggression. Sometimes it's a soothing thing to rub the ink on there. But that's about all you need to do right now with the crumb cake. We're going to bring in, let's do our stamping on this tree right here. I'm sorry, this is going to be a tree. This is going to be the same tree that we used on the first card. So I mentioned at the the beginning of class, in case you missed it, we have 3 different trees. We're going to be doing a star tree on this card, but we're also doing my favorite one right now, which is the tree that has all of the different little needles on it. So we're doing crumb cake on crumb cake for this one. And then we're going to sponge the edges of that after we die cut it. So we'll set that aside for right now. I do need to clean that because I did mention that this tree may be in multiple cards. This one is my favorite for sure of all of them. All right, so let's go ahead and put together a few things while we have all these parts and pieces. Sometimes I like to just get going and add stuff to the card just to get it off of my desk because it can be overwhelming with all of these things. We're going to layer this embossed. This is the Birch 3D embossing folder. And we're going to layer this on a white cardstock mat. And I just realized that my card opens like this, so let's not make a backwards card today. Let us make all of the cards that will open beautifully the right way. We're going to go ahead and put this layer on toward the left. Now it's going to mat beautifully on the top, the left side, and the bottom, as you can see here. But we're going to focus other items on the opposite side. But before we get to that, let's do something with some of these arches. Now you may be looking at this card and wondering, where are the arches? Where did they go, Julie? Well, we're going to do something tricky with them, something that I had not done previously, but I thought, you know what? We're shaking things up today. This is like a totally shaked up class. We're shaking some things up. This is one of them. First, we're just going to come in here with our real red ink and a blending brush, and we're going to just go ahead and darken down the straight side of the arch and the top and bottom kind of next to it, just like this. We're going to just make that a little bit deeper red. I love adding ink. It does so much to things. Okay, let's close that up for now, and we're going to go ahead and put these two together. So these are the nesting sizes. The Everyday Arches has lots of nesting dies, and I love the nesting dies. These ones also are frequently on back order because they remain very popular. They came out in the spring, and they have been on back order more times than I can count. Now, arches. If you wanted to use them in an arch manner, you sure could. You can go ahead and change up this design however you want to, but we're going to use them this way, like sideways. And then we're going to be covering over the circular part of it. So we're just kind of getting the stitching here, the stitched almost looks like rectangles now when we put it on here just like this. So think about different ways you can use your dies. They don't always have to be exactly as you see them, especially if you love layers. If you love layers, you can get super creative, do all kinds of good stuff. Now I'm going to go ahead and, gosh, you know, this is where I'm going to be like, should I? Maybe I'm going to try the green one. You can see how beautiful the red print is. It is gorgeous. But I did look at this green and I thought, what if I did put the green up? So let's try it and see. This is going to be one of those, which one do you like better cards, because you have options. So we've got the green little plaid up, and I do love it. This is Old Olive, also a very classic color. And we're going to put this on with dimensionals. So we're going to give this one a little bit of lift over here. It's a nice rectangular piece. Now, again, if this is too much layers for you, you could omit this part altogether and just put a tree right here and your sentiment, and you would be good to go. And that would be a much simpler card. And then you could use these other pieces on another project. Now, again, no orientation for this one, so that's really kind of nice. We're going to bring it over here. Again, we're adding interest to our card by putting in layers, like the depth of this, and then we're leaving spots on our card base that are open. So it gives us a little bit of a break from busy. Now I know I add a lot of layers, but I also like to keep a few breaks in my card designs so it doesn't look overwhelmingly busy. Not everything on the card has to be fully busy. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we stamped our tree. We're going to die cut this with our pine tree die. You have these little pieces right here, which are going to be your stars. You're going to do one in gold and one in red. So you're going to die cut your stars with those pieces. So I have a red star on the crumb cake tree. I put the gold star on the gold tree. So this one right here and our sentiment piece, these are meant to be heat embossed with Versamark and and gold embossing powder, and I just have to find all of my little pieces for that. So we're going to bring in the Versamark. Move red out of the way. Definitely the embossing buddy. I also recommend, I love the reversible tweezers, by the way, to hold on to your paper while you're heat embossing, and a tiny little paintbrush, just any craft store paintbrush, works really, really well to get those stray bits of embossing powder off of things that you don't want the embossing powder on. So I want you to notice that I'm going to keep the rounded part here to the left as I do my sentiment, because we're going to actually tuck that round piece in over here, keeping the straight on the side underneath the tree. So we're keeping all of the rounded arches off. So this is kind of like an archless card, even though we're using the everyday arches. Okay, so back to the embossing section. Let me remove my brushes and make a little bit more room here on my desk. I feel like there's never enough room. So a lot of times during Christmas season, I really am doing quite a bit more heat embossing than I normally would be. And that's perfectly okay. We're going to bring in the stars first. And I don't know if you can see this or not. Let me come up this way. We're going to ink this up, put this onto our cardstock or white cardstock. Of course, it looks invisible until you get the powder onto here. And then you'll be able to see all the little stars. And how cute is that? Like, it's just, they're cute stars. Some are open, some are closed. Absolutely adorable. I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to bring in our sentiment piece, and our sentiment is going to say some words. Sending Christmas wishes. We just used that on the first card. In case you were paying attention, we use this tone on tone on our first card, but this fits really nicely in the tiniest little arch die from that set. We're going to make sure that we're putting the end of wishes as far to the right as we can. And that way we can tuck the rounded part of our arch underneath our Christmas tree as we're layering things on. So there we go. I think I got that on there pretty good. All right, we're going to cover up the gold embossing powder. We're going to do a little bit of heat embossing. I'm going to go ahead and cover up this, move some things aside. I'm going to start the heat tool up. And while I get it going, I'm going to grab my tweezers. Okay, there's one. Just going to heat emboss this one real quick. Go. Now with heat embossing, a couple of tricks. You can dunk these into your embossing powder, set them aside somewhere where you're not going to knock them accidentally and remove parts of the embossing powder, and then emboss all at once if you want to. Just keep in mind that eventually your heat tool may get overheated and it may shut down. It has happened to me at stamp camps before where everyone is heat embossing at the same time. So just give your heat tool some breaks in between so it doesn't overheat. And if it does overheat, just give it a break, let it cool down. I've had good luck with it coming back to life after a little bit when I thought maybe I might have, killed one of my heat tools. All right, let me move this aside. And we're going to go ahead and sponge our sentiment. So our sentiment, the crumb cake, the gold powder, not super, super noticeable. But once we add a little bit of crumb cake ink along the edges, it really helps to draw the eye in to the gold powder. And it just shows up a little bit nicer. So we're going to go ahead and just add that in here, and you don't have to go all the way to the end if you want, because we're going to go ahead and tuck the circle arch in once again. So I think we have everything we need for this one. I set this aside because I've already die cut all of the things for us, including the little stars, so that we can go ahead and assemble our card. So we are going to have our little bow here. This is your twine. By the way, you're getting some linen twine. What you'll do is you will get the ends in half and then trim this end. So you have two pieces of roughly 8 inches, and then just go ahead holding those two together at the same time and create your double bow, which is what I did right here. I love a double bow. I feel like it shows up really nicely. And then when you die cut, again, you're going to have these trees. Oh, you know what? We should probably add a little bit of crumb cake to our tree. You can see here the difference between not sponging the edge and then sponging the edge. How much, I just think it looks so much nicer. So I die cut the trees earlier, and we're going to go ahead and find my crumb cake ink one more time. I'm going to add a little bit more ink. More ink. So here we go. My stars are scattering a little bit here. So crumb cake ink along the edges. And we're going to go ahead and tuck one of the crumb cake ends along behind our white pine tree. So you don't have to do the whole thing if you don't want to. You're going to see that most of that's going to get covered up. So these are shortcuts in case you think like, wow, these are super complicated cards. There's so much going on. Sometimes there's shortcuts. Sometimes we kind of fake what we're not going to see, and then we don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, I grabbed the wrong glue bottle. We don't have to worry about every little tiny detail. Like, we can skip some of them because we're layering. That's the secret of layering. Once you layer things, you don't have to necessarily do everything, you know, fully and completely. Now, if you prefer to switch up your stars, you could put the red star on the white tree and the gold star on the crumb tree. So you can see here, they are universal. The stars and the trees, universal. All right, let's go ahead and put all this together now because we are on the very end here of the assembly of this, and I can't wait to see how this green card DSP is going to turn out. First thing we're going to do is add on our embossed piece, and I'm basically lining up this edge here with the edge of my white cardstock that has the DSP on it. So it's going to give you a nice area to kind of figure out where that needs to go. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this tree on with some dimensionals. I'm just doing a little dry fit here because I like to dry fit and make sure everything's going in the right direction. So once again, we're going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on here. We're going to grab a small one. Ooh, I got a couple small ones left on this sheet. Right here at the top where the star is. And we're going to go ahead and add this on now. I think this is a really nice card, even though the original doesn't have any green on it at all. I feel like it's just a really nice kind of natural card. And I would love to know in the comments what you're thinking about this one too. I'm going to just go ahead and put this maybe right about here. And yes, I'm very happy with that. So I didn't press this down completely hard with the dimensionals on the back, just in case I changed my mind, because you know what, sometimes that does happen. I think I can sneak a small dimensional onto the back of the white tree, just where the star is going to go, because my goal is, if this works, my goal is to get the star up here where it's still flat, kind of like right in there. Nope, maybe not. Just kidding. Live TV. Changed my mind. We're going to pull that right off again. Yes, I was able to do that. Managed it. Okay, so that's not necessary. Just kidding. Sometimes card making is all experimental, and I can, again, never make two cards exactly the same. So sometimes I'm trying different things as I'm going along. All right, we're going to put this one on. So it is going to hit, the star is going to hit the white layer where the DSP is. So I'm just going to make sure that that kind of stays down right there. I might have to add a little bit more glue behind the star. Okay, we're going to suggest that it stays right here for a second while the glue sets. So you can see that we're going to keep our sentiment around my hand, where my hand is. We're going to keep our sentiment in view. So don't cover up the sentiment with your tree, but you can definitely cover up part of the crumb cake tree. And then we're going to add our little twine bow, or double bow. I have to reach for my glue dots. I don't have them right handy, but they are nearby. So I'm going to put the glue dot right here on the DSP, and then add the knot of my bow right over top of that little glue dot. So it's just under the sentiment piece. Again, the double bow, you can kind of zhuzh it up, fluff it up a little bit, separate it. It just looks fuller and more fun linen thread is so inexpensive. I highly recommend it if you don't have that. It goes with so many things, and it's so easy to work with. And it's not super bumpy for your mailing purposes. And I just dropped my bin on the floor. So it's probably a good thing we're almost done with this card, but I am using these embellishments on this one, and I wrote them down. This is streaked dots, I believe is what they are. They are in the fall catalog. Now, these brown embellishments, you might not think of as very Christmassy, but because we're kind of playing on a more natural, like the crumb cake, the brown, the gold, I felt like they worked really well for this project. So we're going to see if we can get a couple of these off of here and add them onto the card itself. So here we go. We're doing our famous little threesome of these little dots. So these have transcended from fall. So if you have some of these, think about using them in some of your Christmas cards as well. So let me stack my bin here. It's like everything's out of control, but there we go. It is done. And look at this. We have one with red DSP. We have one with green DSP. And I would love to know in the comments which one you like better. So I'm going to clean up here for just a second while you're looking at the red and the green and letting me know. Red or green? Which one is better? I do really like the green one more than I thought I would, because it adds that little bit of Christmas, color to this card kit. All right, let me clean up here. I'm going to check your comments, see if I can see them again on my laptop over here. And I might have to refresh my page. Okay. Looking to see if I see any reds or greens. So Michelle says the red and gold DSP. Jess likes the red. Patty likes the red. Oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Patty likes the red. Okay, good. Well, you guys do like the red. That is awesome. I mean, I really loved the red too when I first started out. So I'm glad you think so too. It is really pretty just to have zero green on a Christmas tree card. But I can't discredit this beautiful color over here either. I like them both. I probably like them both equally. So that makes things really difficult, right? That's why you have to make one of everything and keep it. Then you just make multiples and give them away. That's my secret too. Okay, we're going to move on to something a little more wintry looking. And I'm going to grab my next bin and I'm going to bring it over here and stack a little bit more carefully because, we don't want things to just tumble around in the craft room. That is not good. All right, so this card kit is a pool party. We have a little bit of some silver glimmer. We have some pretty peacock. We have, I love this Delicate Pines designer series paper. And of course, you could go either way with it when you're putting your card kit together. We have some balmy blue sheer ribbon. I love this ribbon. It works so well with any of the light blue colors, the balmy, the pool party. You could use it with Coastal Cabana. You've got peacock. You could mix it in with Night of Navy, cloud cover. I mean, pick a blue and you're probably good to go. You've got a little bit of white cardstock. You have a label from the traditional labels bundle. So I'm giving you a die cut label for your sentiment. There's a little bit of silver. So you can see here we're going silver instead of gold. In case you were wondering, silver and gold both have a place in Christmas colors. And then we've got a Spotlight on Nature circle die cut. And then this is a snowflake die cut. And this is that specialty winter celebrations. Oh my goodness, I can't think of what this one's called right now. Let's see if I can read my notes. This one is I'm looking at my notes. I have really crazy notes over here. This is did I write it down? I wrote down snowflake. There is a wintry word for these snowflakes, but this one. This one is snowflake designer series paper. This is from the Delicate Pines. This is the largest snowflake die. So you're getting this die cut. So you're kind of getting a wintry theme here to go with our Christmas tree card. And I'm going to bring this in so you can see what we're going to be doing to create this one and put this one together. So this one is really pretty. This is my blue spruce card. I'm going to call this blue spruce. Everybody that loves blue, you might like this card. I really love this card. I think it's gorgeous. And I have some really awesome tips on putting this one together. So let's go ahead and grab out the basics of our card kit. And we're going to start with some pretty peacock onto our pool party card base. So we're going to add this layer across here. And again, you can go lower if you want, you can go higher if you want, just wherever you want to put this on. There's no right or wrong. But you only have this much glimmer paper. Like, this is it. It's a small piece of glimmer paper. You can see that it's on both edges of this card. So you may be wondering, how in the world would you do anything with this? Well, what I want you to do is this, and this is a tip, especially if you don't want to use all your supplies all the way across where no one's ever going to know that you didn't cover the entire thing, right? We have some layers here. So just go ahead and cut this right in half. And now you have two pieces, and they don't even have to be straight cut in half. You don't have to get out your trimmer. Don't worry about that. What I want you to worry about, though, is keeping the straight edge, the original straight edge, not the crooked one from your scissors. But put the original straight edge over here on the side so that you have a really nice edge. The crooked one can be over here where it gets covered. Same thing on this one. You want to make sure you grab the straighter edge, which I believe is this one, and then put the crooked one in the middle. The only thing you have to worry about lining up really is if you're really like worried about this being the same distance here as it is here, use your graph paper or use a ruler and just kind of line it up so that you can see on your lines that it's going to be exactly where you want it to be. Now, if it's not exactly where you want it to be, it's okay, because we're going to add a lot of layers, so don't sweat it. It'll be perfectly fine. Let's go ahead and put these together. We've got Pretty Peacock, white, and our Designer Series paper. So we're going to go ahead and add these up. Now, these card kits, while they have lots of layers and lots of things going on, they're also meant to be just activities that you can do when you don't feel like getting out all of the paper and making all of the cuts. These kits are just meant to be pulled out when you want to do some simple stamping and assembly. All the hard work is done for you, and you just want to put something together that's really pretty. So this is the beauty of getting the card kits with me, and they do come to you with your weekly orders. And I change them every week too, so there's always an opportunity to get a really great card kit in the mail. All right, I'm going crazy with the dimensionals on this one. Sometimes I start talking and I don't pay attention, and then I have 20 dimensionals on a piece of paper. But there we go. It is going to be super secured on our card base, and so awesome too. I'm going to turn this right over. Make sure it's opening in the right direction so we don't have that upside down card situation. And now we're going to cover up where our glimmer paper is cut. We're going to cover this up, and we're just going to put this right on here, centering it. This is one where we are centering, just like that. Now keep in mind, I did keep this Designer Series paper up because I really wanted it to be kind of wintry snowflakey, because we have the big snowflake die cut right here, which looks entirely different from the one on my card. So we're going to talk about that in just a minute, but we can go ahead and glue down our white die cut circle. And if you want to just line up the top in any kind of manner, that's totally up to you. I usually don't pay too much attention. It will fit pretty nicely side to side, so that is a good feature here as well. Now we're going to get into the fun stuff, the inky parts, okay? So let's grab out the inks that we need for this one, and there's a few. Now I've got Whisper White, which is a craft ink. We're going to talk about how that works. We've got Shaded Spruce, Pretty Peacock, Lost Lagoon, and Pool Party. Love this color combination. This combination just makes me really happy. We're going to start out with Shaded Spruce and our white cardstock, and we're going to stamp one of the trees that we haven't tried yet. Now this one has a lot of play in it. I mentioned earlier. So this one has play because there's so much opportunity to add color, which is exactly what we're doing for this particular stamped image. So you can see here, it does the outline. It does a few little lines in between, but there's like so much room to color this in, and there's no other way to color this other than to color it, right? So your option is to grab out your blends, to grab out your markers, your color pencils, or what I like to do for quick coloring is I like to bring in ink pads and the blending brushes. So we're going to bring in Pool Party and Lost Lagoon, and this is what we're going to do on these two pieces. So let me grab my blending brushes. We're going to start with the lighter color, which is Pool Party, and we're going to add some ink. Now I started with Shaded Spruce because I wanted a nice dark color behind the shading colors that I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and just add in Pool Party. And I'm not going to color everything. I'm going to leave a little bit of it white as we're going here. Now, please notice that this Pool Party on Shaded Spruce makes this look like a light minty green. It no longer looks like Pool Party to me. It looks minty green. And I don't know if it's an optical illusion or just what, but I find that kind of fascinating. When I play with ink, I'm always fascinated by different things. All right, so, while we have Pool Party out, let's talk about our little snowflake here. There are little snowflake embossed pieces on our snowflake die cut. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to kind of accent these by just lightly adding some Pool Party ink to the snowflake. And I'm focusing on the specific areas where the snowflake parts are raised up. The little embossing in the paper is raised up. I'm not going to do the entire thing, but I'm going to just go ahead and add in a little bit of shading and color there. And just, it's so pretty to add that little bit on there. Now this will dry and it will look lighter because as I'm looking at this over here, this looks more blue and this looks more green to me. So after you've got that all taken care of, you're going to put the snowflake just right down flat onto your circle. Of course, you can put the top of your snowflake in whichever direction you want. If you want to have it, instead of going up and down, you want to do a little bit so it's canted. You can do that as well. But there we go. Look at how awesome this is. This is all part of your kit. Regardless of what else you put on this, you have really great pieces here to work with. Now we're going to bring in Lost Lagoon next. And we have Lost Lagoon blending brush. That is not Lost Lagoon. That's why I labeled them. I would be lost without my labels. Okay, so Lost Lagoon. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of Lost Lagoon now. I'm going to tap some of that off. That seemed awfully dark. And we're going to do the same thing where we're just going to kind of add some color and randomly, right? So no two trees will ever be the same. You can definitely kind of just add in a little bit more here and there. If you want a little bit darker, well, that's a little bit over the top. Okay, I'm getting out of control, but the out of control is within a die cutting situation. So I'm going to be able to die cut some of that. All right, before I go too crazy, because right now you're looking at this and you're like, whoa, that's a mess. What are you doing, Julie? Okay, I do have it under control, I think. Let me go ahead and bring in my die cutter. We're actually going to die cut our tree because we do need to die cut something today. So let me grab my die cutting machine. And we're going to go ahead and die cut the tree. Now this same tree die cut has been used on each of the cards, each of the different trees. This is just the first time I'm actually die cutting it with you during this class. I had already done them ahead of time on the recipe. Set that aside, and then we're going to check it out and see if this is less of a mess than we had previously suspected from this paper. Now this is also now a stencil, so if you like this shape and you want to continue to create inked trees on different projects, you certainly can do so. Let me go ahead and grab a sip again. Cheers to me, because I remember to have water in my craft room today. Last week we had a disaster of coughing. All right, so here it is. And it does look a little bit better than it was before. I am going to bring in Lost Lagoon one more time and just touch up the edges here a little bit. And that's just me because I want to just kind of deepen down some of this as well. There we go. So now it's looking a little bit better. It's a little bit more green, but it's definitely a blue spruce type of a tree. And again, this will lighten up a little bit. No two trees will ever be the same. I do love this color combination. And I hope that you guys are loving it too. I'm not seeing your comments right now, but I will check back again in a little bit. No, we don't need this one open. We need, oh my goodness, I have ink so badly everywhere that I got to clean up my ink pad here. We're going to clean this up a little bit. I have inked everywhere. It is official. I am fully inked here. Okay, we're going to grab our label. I'm trying to not get ink where I don't need it. Pretty Peacock. I used this color ink on the 'Tis the Season sentiment. And this fits really nicely on this label right here. Now, if you aren't using this stamp set, I mean, really, it's pretty good for a lot of different sentiments as well. So we've got that part done. There was a little silver piece, foil piece in this kit. Oh, here it is, right here. This is the piece you're going to die cut your star. So we're going to have a silver star on top of this tree, which I did do ahead of time. So we do have the silver star here. So here's our silver star for our tree. Now, before we put this on, we're going to talk a little bit about, and I showed you all the inks for this one, the white ink, and how I use it on this tree. It's really hard to see it probably, but I did use it, and I'm going to show you exactly how I did that, and then what I did afterwards. So we're gonna add in these little ornaments on this tree. Now you can choose white craft ink if you don't want to do heat embossing. So you could heat emboss if you wanted to. This is a really good way to just see, do you want to add white to a project, right? So if you're inking this up, go ahead and add those in. So you can kind of see here, I'm going to pick this up. Now this is wet and they are still really visible. Kind of almost looks like little snowballs. Some of this looks like snowballs, so it fits the theme of this card quite nicely. Now, if you're not really happy with it, which happened when I did my first card, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not really sure if I like it. This is what I did. I'm going to get inky again. I kind of rubbed them. I rubbed the white because it will smear. This ink is kind of meant to smear anyway. It's going to smear a little bit, regardless if you rub that or not. It's a craft ink, and it does kind of smudge and smear. So I basically smudged it off. Now you can still see it. It kind of has that bokeh look to it, where it almost looks like it's bleached or something, you know, kind of like that white has bleached in or seeped into the ink. So that is what I did with that. And I kept that on there, and I liked the effect, even without keeping it super dark. Now, if you wanted it to still be super white and dark, you can heat emboss just to dry that white craft ink. It will run less, but it might still smudge a little bit. It is the nature of the white craft ink. So, of course, if you really love the white, you can grab out your white embossing powder, and then you can go ahead and heat emboss that in white. Now, the white craft ink does clean up really nicely, but I wouldn't recommend letting it dry on your stamps. I cleaned up. So you can see here on my chamois, it is definitely a different type of ink than our water-based inks are. Our regular inks are a little bit different in texture. Okay, so there we go. There is the secret to my little pine tree here, and it gave you a look at too how you would maybe use the ornaments from this stamp set on the trees if that's what you wanted to do too. So we're going to add our silver star in, and then we're going to go ahead and add in the rest of our elements. Let's start with our ribbon. We're going to go ahead and bring this into thirds roughly, and then if you hold it into the middle, you almost have like a fake bow. Like if you can see like two ribbons up here, two tails going this way, you have kind of a fake bow, and that's what we're going to put right across here. This is where you're going to grab something to hold it in place while you search for your tape. That's my trick. Search for your tape. That way you can do things with your hands, and that's still kind of formed right there. We're going to go ahead and add that right across, and we're going to kind of catch our little fake bow, if you will, all the way across. And then we're going to go ahead and bring this tape backing off so that everything else will stick to it. Now the tree is going on with some dimensionals. And do I have any of these left in my mini version? Oh look, I have one left on this little sheet right here. We're going to go ahead and put that at the top. To support our star, we need star support. And then we're going to go ahead and add this onto our card. Just kind of find a nice spot for that to fit on there. And then you can rearrange your ribbon a little bit if you need to. And then the 'Tis the Season is going to come over here, and it's going to cover up the rest of the tape that's holding that ribbon down. And we're going to definitely need dimensional right there, a little bit of glue right here, and then this is going to come across this way. 'Tis the Season. So we're still able to see our snowflake in the background. We see our ribbon behind there. Just all these little elements that add to the prettiness of the card. Hopefully you are agreeing and you're loving this little blue version. Now the bling on this one is, something kind of more blue and silver. This is the Faceted Gems Trio. I don't have all of the colors anymore. There was some more that were definitely a little bit darker in the blue family. More Coastal Cabana or Lost Lagoon, but I'm kind of down to my silver ones right now. So I thought, well, I'll just put these on the tree here and just kind of add to the bokeh look for my white crafted ornaments. If I can get this one to pick up off of the sheet, that would be so nice. So there we go. Just 3 of them on there to just add little accents on. And there it is. So pretty, so beautiful. I love this one because I love blue. The blue cards are always really popular, in my personal opinion. Loving the blue cards. I'm going to just move some of this out of the way so that we can continue on. We have one more card, and then I'm going to share with you the bonus shaker card. So we still have a bonus card. Kathy. Hi, Kathy. Julie. Okay. Looking at some new comments on here. Jess loves the, I know, Jess, we love the blues, don't we? Jess loves the blue. Patty loves it too. Awesome. Thank you guys for commenting. I appreciate that so much. All right, let's set this one aside. We're going to go into card number 4. Now, card number 4, if you thought card number 2 with the crumb and the real red for a Christmas tree card was a little bit non-traditional, card number 4 might blow your socks off. Just saying. You might be like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, I'm going to grab out the kit, and you're going to see there's a lot of black, white, and red going on here. Again, very little green to this card. I went a little bit non-traditional because I do like to show you and inspire you with things that maybe you hadn't thought of or hadn't thought to try. So this one has the Modern Christmas DSP. This is really one of my favorite selections from it. I love the fa la 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 white lettering on the black DSP. Now, if you didn't like it, it's too much dark for you, flip it over. There's some white and a little bit of, again, fancy gold, great for Christmas. We have lots of items here that are die cut. These are coming to you die cut. This is from the Thoughtful Branches dies. So you're getting 2 labels. You're getting the pine bough here in shaded spruce, and you're getting a little sprig in cherry cobbler. Love these colors together. And then this is two-tone black cardstock. I have embossed it with, I've got to grab it out because I'm probably not going to say it right. Let me see. This is all the stuff that's going into this one. Look at my bin here. This is the Christmas Words Collage Hybrid Embossing Folder. We're going to be using Secret Sea ink for this one. We're using the Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels, so we're adding some white pearls. And we've got the black Baker's Twine. Now, the Baker's Twine comes in multiple colors. I have multiple packages of them because I use so much of it. And then I've separated them out as like into the black, into the tan, into the ivory, into the white. So you don't get 3 rolls of black in your Baker's Twine. You get 1, but you also get 5 colors total. So check out the Baker's Twine. You're going to be doing the same thing with your twine as we did in the card 2 cards ago. You're going to cut it in half and make a double bow. Again, twine is just so easy to use. This is back to the Christmas Words Collage. I die cut, I embossed this. I didn't die cut it. I embossed this with this embossing folder. This is the lighter side of the basic black, so nope, it is not the lighter side. Just kidding. It's the darker side. But it is definitely a lighter color than black cardstock. Now, because this is the two-tone and it's got the white core, some of these words, these letters, are going to look like they're a little bit white. If you want to sand them, definitely do. You can have all of the words pop in white if you want to do so. I left it just like this because I felt like it was just enough. So there are some options out there for you. Now you might be wondering like, okay, wait, we haven't seen the card yet. What are we making with all of this black and white and red? Let me bring you out the Oh Christmas Tree card. So this one's a little bit more modern. It's also a little bit more masculine. So if you have someone in your life that you need a specialty masculine card for, this would be a really great one. And it just gives you an idea of different colors and plays at colors. Now this reminds me a little bit of the chalkboard technique where you take the black cardstock, use the white craft ink, you smudge it, you do some kind of like chalkboard type technique to it. This card gives me that chalkboard vibe. and I really like it. It is different. It's not something that I do all the time, but I do like to share some different things with you during the classes so you can get some different ideas. All right, let's put the bones of our card together, and that basically means everything you can do with this kit, whether you have the bundle or not. So we're going to go ahead and bring our white layer mat here onto our card base. And then we're going to go ahead and bring in our embossed piece. I'm going to tell you that I have not yet used the die cut that goes with this embossing folder. It does come with dies so that you can actually die cut these raised words. I've used the embossing folder a few times, but not the dies yet. So that is on my bucket list of things to do. So maybe next week we'll try that out together. So here we go. We've got this going on. We're going to go ahead and bring in this white layer with our fa-la-la-la-las. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could dry fit here real quick and just go with like, okay, what would it look like if we did this? And just kind of get an idea. We've got our things here. So this is what it would look like. And I personally prefer the dark cards, dark DSP. The fa-la-la-la-las need to be up. And I like that the fa-la-las go with the words that are on the embossed piece as well. It kind of just goes together. It seems like it's meant to be. So we're going to layer this DSP right here onto this white cardstock, creating this nice little mat. Now the white behind it helps this to pop and show up better on our card base. So there is a method to the madness as I'm adding all of the layers. And I stopped this specifically so that you could see the white border around the entire card. I hope you can notice these details. Sometimes I bring it all the way to the edge of the card base. Sometimes I bring it all the way to the edge of the first layering mat. In this card, I wanted the white to really shine through because we do need that brightness with all of the black and the dark red. We need that pop of white to really just bring this card to life. And the extra white here helped us to do that just so easily. Now these pieces right here that are die cut for you, just going to go ahead and secure them together. And we're going to just put these onto our card base with dimensionals. Let me pop those upside down. Grab out some dimensionals. And again, even just the simplest act of dimensionals on something elevates your card. And that's a pun, but it's also true. Elevates your card like so much just by adding different heights, different textures, all of these elements, just they add up so quickly. And we haven't even tried hard yet, right? Like this is just gorgeous, just like this. Now, of course, you can take this and you've got a couple more pieces in your card kit and you could add a sentiment to this and you could be done. You would have a really lovely card just like this. Add a sentiment, you're good to go. Now we are going to go ahead and we're going to heat emboss a tree on our black cardstock, and then we just have our sentiment to stamp in Secrecy ink. So super simple. We are bringing in, again, my favorite tree. I think I used this tree on 3 cards. 3 out of 4 cards I've used this particular stamp. I really do love this one. So we're going to go ahead and heat emboss this in white powder. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to show you what it looks like after it's heat embossed and die cut, because we have done some heat embossing tonight. We've done some die cutting tonight. So that is going to be a time saver here. I was just looking at the clock. It is getting late and I do have one more card to share with you still. So I don't want you to like fall asleep on me. We're still hanging out together, right? We're having a good time. Secrecy ink is a really great dark ink, close to black. So we're going to do Oh Christmas Tree here on this strip of white. And it's just so delicate. I love this particular sentiment and the font that's on it. We're going to go ahead and angle cut this to put onto our card. And this one is pretty much like almost in the books here. So let's go ahead and add in these elements. And I'm going to show you that when I put these down, I'm not, because they're kind of tiny and skinny, I'm just grouping them here onto my die cuts, and I'm going to use some tear and tape here and secure the ends. I'm just going to tear a little bit of tear and tape off, secure the ends like right here. So again, this is going to get covered up. The ends are going to get covered up by the tree, so you don't have to worry about, about that. So we've got the tape off. We're going to add the tree with some dimensionals. Now this would be a great place to use the black dimensionals if you have them. So the black dimensionals look really nice, obviously, against the darker colored cardstock. They help it to blend in. So as I pull off the backings here, you can see the black dimensionals just, they're kind of like, they're stealth dimensionals. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put this right about here. And I still have a little bit of tear and tape showing right here. It may not show up on camera, but I can see it here. But we're going to go ahead and put this across, and it's going to fill in that last little bit. I'm going to come back over to the white dimensionals. I'm actually going to put one right here where that tear and tape is. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive here to the middle of this sentiment piece. And just like that, we have our Oh Christmas Tree card. And it is oh so different, right? Like this one is totally different in a good way. Now we've done a double bow with our twine. So we're going to find the glue dots one more time. We're going to add our black twine in with the glue dots. A little bit glue dot, one glue dot like right where you want the knot of your bow to be on your project. Tuck it right in underneath there. Look at how awesome that is. And for this one, I chose to add white pearls. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could color these with your Stampin' Blends, and they could be red pearls. They could be black pearls if you wanted black pearls. My goodness, this is not coming out of here very nicely at all. I know that the side is like open. Let's see if I can get this to come out. We might have to just, okay, there we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add in a few of these pearls. And they are shiny. They are a little bit iridescent, which is really nice too. And there's some different sizes. There's some tiny tinies, and even the big ones aren't huge. So it just gives a nice little factor to it here without being like really blatantly like, whoa, here's an embellishment. It just adds that little bit there. And here it is, the Oh Christmas Tree. So non-traditional and yet so fascinating, right? Like I thought this was a really awesome card. I hope you guys are loving this one too. I'm going to check your comments again real quick. See if I can find your comments on here. I might have to refresh my laptop. While I do that, I'm going to clean off this Oh Christmas Tree stamp because we are going to use this on our shaker card. We have a bonus card today. You might be thinking, wow, Julie, normally you do 4 cards and you're good to go, but we do have a bonus card. Let me see here. Looking to see if I see any new comments, but I think sometimes the comments on here, they lag a little bit, so I will check out your comments shortly. All right, so far we have our 4 card kits of the night, but I had an offer on the table that said, if you spend $75 with me this week, you get a shaker card. A whole kit that you can create a shaker card with. So we're going to look at that one together right now. We're going to look at the shaker bits. We're going to look at the shaker bobs. So the bits and bobs, and then the card kit itself. Okay, so when you place your $75 order, you're getting one each of the 4 designs. You're getting one of these, you're getting one of these, you're getting one of these, and you're getting one of these. So those are your cards. Getting 4 card kits with your $50 order, just like we do every week. And they're really awesome. I mean, like you can see all the layers and all the details. They're really fun cards. When you do $75 this week, you're also getting a card kit with all of these parts and pieces. And whether you have this bundle or not, you're going to be able to create a shaker card. So we're shaking it up. These are the tree shaker domes if you ever want to get this to go with this stamp set. And dies. This is 166064. You get 10 of them. So they're designed to work perfectly with the tree die cut that's in this bundle. So the tree shaker, well, I don't even have to open it. There's one right here. This is what they look like. There's tape on both sides. So I'm going to be sending you your tree shaker dome. I'm going to be sending you a little packet of shaker bits. So these are the gold shaker stars. So inside here, there's lots of stars. They're super shiny and fun, right? And you'll be getting these parts and pieces in your kit so that you can create the shaker card all on your own. So you're getting shaded spruce, 2-tone shaded spruce, embossed peaceful greenery, some beautiful DSP from the Gathering Together. You're getting some gold foil. Look at this piece right here. This piece is coming to you. This is DSP, by the way, coming to you already cut with this die so that you can create your shaker card. You don't need to have the set to create your own shaker card today. And then some more green and some ribbon and your shaker bits right here. So all of these go together to create this really fun shaker card. So here it is. So you can see it right here. So the shaker bits are inside here. This is the dome, so it comes up and over top here. And then you're getting a little bit of ribbon here to create this fun shaker card. And it is really a fun shaker card. So we're going to create this together. This will not take long at all, because at home to do this card, the only thing you're going to need is either a background stamp or a sentiment stamp of your choice. That's all you need, and everything else is right here for you. So I'm going to share with you how this goes together in case you're interested, like how exactly does this work. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put together lots of the layers of our card. Now, if you don't want to create a shaker card with this, you don't have to. You can just create a regular card if you so desire, and you can also, the shaker card part of this kit will work as a tag. And I'm going to show you that too. I mean, there's so many things you can do with this. I'm just absolutely fascinated by all of the fun that you can have. So I just put together the Shaded Spruce two-tone cardstock. I put the lighter color onto my Shaded Spruce card base because I wanted the lighter tone so that we can see 3 distinct colors here as we're starting to layer on the pieces for this. So this is a Peaceful Greenery embossing folder, which I believe is currently on back order. So you can kind of see it here. And then we've got Shaded Spruce, again, two-tone. So this is the lighter side, but I'm going to keep the darker side up this time. And we're going to layer the solid piece of DSP across here. The cut piece of DSP that comes to you in this kit is for the shaker part. So that's very specific in nature. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that on here. Now this doesn't really have an orientation. These little leaves on here kind of go in either direction. So you just decide which one you think is best suited to be facing up on your card base. And you're only going to see a little bit of it on the outside. You're not going to see it all the way across the middle because we're layering the things. We are always layering the things. So here's the bones of your card kit. Again, you can choose to do something completely different at this point if you want to. Now here's your shaker part. This is where you can make a tag using these pieces with your shaker card sections as well. So the gold foil is going to layer with the this is Shaded Spruce cardstock. And then you're going to see a smaller piece of Shaded Spruce cardstock. There's a reason I'm sending this to you, and it's because I love you guys. And I don't want you to struggle. So we're going to actually stamp our background on here. And I don't know if you can see it in this because of the glare. But we stamped the background on a piece behind our shaker. And if you were to take your Oh Christmas Tree stamp and your Shaded Spruce ink, so all I used was Shaded Spruce ink and a sentiment. And if you were to stamp this on this piece, the reality is you would probably, in trying to get Oh Christmas Tree all the way across it, you would probably end up with some ink along the outer edges of the mat. And that's not what I intended for this to be. So we're going to actually use the smaller piece and we're going to start stamping Oh Christmas Tree. And you can stamp it so that it goes across in some different, so you can see it like a little bit here, a little bit of the words over here, mix it up, put a couple of them on there that look beautiful. Go ahead and fill that in. So you can see here, Oh Christmas Tree. Hopefully you can see that, right? Shaded Spruce on Shaded Spruce. Again, I love this stamp. It's like one of my favorite. And that's it for stamping. So whatever stamp you want to use at home to do this, you definitely can. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to see what it's going to look like if you put this over top of it. So you can kind of see where your words are going to show in your shaker dome. And it's meant to be smaller than the DSP, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so there we go. Now we've got our shaker bits, we've got our dome. This is the trickiest part right here, putting all of this together. So I'm going to recommend that you put the dome facing up, right? So it's like a little bowl right now. And go ahead and put your shaker bits right into this little bowl, like you're pouring cereal. Ooh, look at all those little shaker stars. I might have gone a little crazy. Getting some shaker stars. I wanted it to be so that it fills the bottom, if you're doing this at home, fills the bottom of your shaker dome, like flat. If it's laying flat, it's like full, right? Now, the next thing you're going to do, this is where you have to be careful. You're going to peel off the top of the tape. So this is going to, hopefully you can see this. This is coming off. This is releasing the sticky bit. So this is just the tear away. And then we're going to take our stamped image, we're going to lay it this way, and we're going to put it on our sticky bits. So I'm going to make sure that I have this on here. I might have to like, hopefully can see this. This is going to be tricky. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and line this up, hopefully. I did this once. I did this on my card that I made, and I was like, yep, I got it figured out. We're going to start up here at the top and just kind of try to make sure we get everything covered. This could be tricky. And then I'm going to kind of press from behind. So I'm pressing right now along the edges before I flip it over, just to make sure that it's on here. So you can see here that it is on here. So this is, I'm just going to press this down a little bit. So this is completely on here. So there is my Oh Christmas Tree stamping behind. There you go, you can see it. Now the next step is to peel off the second layer of sticky on the shaker dome. So we're peeling this off, and then we're going to layer on the DSP that's coming to you with the die cut already in it. So if you don't have the stamp set and dies, you don't have to worry about it. We're going to just put this right over top and center it, and the sticky is going to catch this DSP. So you're going to just press that down. How awesome is this, right? I love these little shaker domes. And there we go. We are shaking it up here right now. Shaking it up. All right, so there is what it looks like. Now, if this is crooked, it's okay. It's smaller than your DSP. If for some reason you're really crooked and you need to trim it, go for it. You can trim it. But this all fits nicely matted. Once we get this on here, we're going to attach this right here to our next piece of shaded spruce cardstock. So just be a little bit generous with the adhesive, because you want to make sure that you get everything on here nicely. And then center this onto your shaded spruce layering mat, just like this. Now this could be your tag right here. You could make this into a tag. You could put a to from on the back of it, put a little hole in here with some ribbon. Here's a little tag for a package. Or if you want to get fancy, you can add it to the gold foil and then create a bigger tag that's even fancier, right? So just go ahead and put this onto the gold foil, just like this. Now the gold foil is really sturdy. The back side of the foil is white, and it's definitely a thicker base to it. So you can make a tag just like this. If you didn't want to put this on a card front, you could turn this into a tag, just like this. But we are actually putting it onto our card front over here. And you guessed it, we're doing it with some dimensionals. Because why not, right? You can't mail this, by the way. You would have to put it in a special mailer. This will not mail happily, but you could put it in a bubble mailer if you wanted to. This is definitely kind of a hand deliver specialty type of card. We're going to go ahead with that many, and we're going to put this on here. And then we're going to add our ribbon. So the ribbon is included in your kit. This is a beautiful shaded spruce ribbon with gold edging. It's picking up all of the gold here in our card. This is a really fancy card. This is a very specialty card for sure. Oh, it's so full of shaker bits. I love it. All right, so you've got your ribbon here, but I did make a bow because bows can be tricky. So I'm going to you make a bow with that, and then you're going to add that on to the edge. Again, I love to use the tear and tape for the ribbons. Can manipulate it a little bit along the back here as well. So we are coming down to the end of our class. This shaker card is a specialty card. This is with your $75 order this week. You get all the card parts and pieces, the shaker bits, the dome, the die cut, so you can create this card. You have everything you need. The only thing you need to add to this card would be the background stamping. If you wanted to stamp a sentiment, you could do that. Just pick a sentiment that you want to add in there. If you prefer to do it like a little bit of an image, you could do that. And there it is. Our shaker card is so pretty. It is so fun. And it just really is, it needs to be seen in person to be like really appreciated, because it is absolutely gorgeous. All right, let's remove the mess mat and let's take a look at the cards one more time. So I have them in all kinds of orders over here. We did all of these cards today, and you can see here that they're all so different as well. So we've got the green card, very traditional Christmas. We've got the red version with the crumb cake. We've got the kind of blue spruce card. We've got the chalkboard black card. And then we've got our shaker card. So absolutely all different cards for sure. Let me get that one out of the way so you can see one of each. So you get the 4 card kits with your $50 order. You spend $75 with me in my online store this week. This is after coupons, before shipping and tax. And you get the shaker card as well. So hopefully you guys are loving the shaker card. I absolutely adore it so much. All right, let me clean up my camera over here. And hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's class with the pine tree trimmings. Hopefully all of your comments will be seen by me very soon. As soon as I get off my live, I'm going to be able to check out and see what you guys are thinking about the shaker card. I can't wait to see what you think about the shaker card. So if you have any questions on this class, please let me know. I appreciate your time hanging out with me. How long did we hang out? Oh, like an hour and a half. That's not too bad for 5 cards. Wow, we did it. That is awesome. So please tell me which one is your favorite. I would love to know. Let me know if you have any questions. And I hope that I inspired you to try some different colors with whatever Christmas tree stamps and dies you have. I know you probably have some if you've been stamping for a while. It's so easy to collect Christmas tree stamps and dies. So feel free to think about swapping in your own and getting these card kits at home so that you can just continue to create. That shaker card is yours and you can do with it whatever you want. All right, you guys, thank you again so much. I really appreciate your time. I'll be sharing pictures on Facebook this week of all of the cards. We'll be talking about whether we like this or that. We'll be doing a couple of Christmas tree surveys. It's going to be a lot of fun, so please make sure you join me. I love to have you hanging out with me all week. It's amazing. And until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Goodbye, my friends.